What's going on, everybody? Gonna get started in a second. It's Tuesday morning. What's going on, Mr. Gomes? Court Gomes, I got you right, not Gomez. If you're listening in, go ahead and type in where you are listening in from. Let me know where you're at. I'm on the road right now, so I'm not able to be in front of my computer to do, you know, regular crypto talk, but we are going to talk about a little bit of crypto. So how's your, I hope everybody's got you're in Georgetown, Guyana right now, huh, Court? All right. Bill Childers, North Palm Beach, Florida. What's going on, Bill? Darnell from the OKC. That's what I'm talking about. I am here right now in Laverne, California. It is going to rain today. We've had this hurricane coming up from Mexico. So the aftermath of that is going to hit California. Whenever it rains here, we have a state of emergency. People look at the sky like they don't know what's happening. What's this water falling from the sky? Called rain. Hey, what's going on, Mafoos? How you doing? All right, let's talk about a little bit of crypto. So I'm not going to take up much of your time, and this is one of my big themes when we talk about the power of cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology. And when I did my research into this space, you know, there's two things that I learned that stuck to me, and it really changed my course of my direction, my compass, so to speak. And the first thing was that cryptocurrency represents the greatest economic shift in wealth in the history of mankind for the most amount of people. The greatest economic shift in wealth. And there's a reason for that I say the word shift, because money never goes away. Money's energy. But money flows like a river. And every now and then that river can shift and change course. And that's what's taking place right now. The river of money as we know it is shifting course. Only this time, everybody has the chance and the opportunity to get this money. You know, I use the opportunity, the analogy of people fishing in a river for money all the time. And most of us don't have a yacht. We don't have a speedboat. We don't have an oil tanker out in the middle of the river. We're sitting on the banks of the river. And we're fishing in shallow water where most of the money's in the deep end. You know, we're not even near that. But when that river of money changes course, our little shallow end starts to dry up. But the rich people, they just pull up anchor and they move with the flow of that river. And they just go where the new money is. This time, with all the masses of people still lined up on the banks of the old dried up river, trying to fish in a little muddy pond, the river is now shifting and coming back. And it is now full-fledged, not just on the banks of the river. A tsunami is coming over us. So for the first time in history, we are now fishing in the deep end, in the middle of the ocean with all the rich people. For the first time in history, there is no barrier of entry of this economic revolution. All the other economic revolutions, the industrial revolutions, the economic shifts have only been for a small percentage of people. You have to be born in the right family. You got to be, you know, the blue bloods. Have that silver spoon in your mouth, that generational wealth. Century, passed down through the generations. And I made a post on Facebook today. And it was about slavery. And people always, oh, why you bring up slavery? I mean, that was in the past. Really? That was 163 years ago. So when we talk about generational wealth, we talk about the ability to pass down wealth from generation to generation, where your great grandfather might have owned land or owned a house or owned business, which meant they had an estate. And when they passed on that estate through the generations, where you had laws in place that allowed only a certain segment of the population to own land, to be able to participate in wealth building and wealth generation that passes down. When news just came out today that Donald Trump didn't start with $1 million, he started with 413 million of his family's estate that he built on. So when each generation can build on the previous, then you have a large segment of the population that was building off of slavery, that had absolutely nothing, that was passed down from generation to generation, of nothing but poverty, debt, and a broke mindset. So the playing field has never been equal. So people today are not responsible for slavery, but we are still in the system and institution that allowed it to take place in the first place, that's only been built for a certain segment of the population. And blockchain technology and the Industrial Revolution with cryptocurrency is, for the first time in human history, regardless of your color, is leveling the playing field, because it's not about black and white. We are now talking about class, economic class, that doesn't care what color you are. Whether you're white or black, you're poor. And you have to go through the same thing as everybody, trying to make it happen. So when other shifts in economic wealth has taken place, whether you're white or black, you didn't have an opportunity for it. But the crypto, the blockchain, doesn't care about where you were born, what language you speak, what country you're from, whether you're male or female, the color of your skin. None of that matters. There's no glass ceiling. There's no, because you're a woman, you're only getting paid half of what a man's getting paid doing the same job. None of that. There is no barrier of entry. It is not controlled by a government, a business, or a bank. All you need is a cell phone, access to the internet, and a willingness to learn. No racism, sexism, nepotism. No blue bloods, no born in the right country, the right family. None of that matters. Who you know, connections, none of that matters. All that matters is your individual desire to want more. And you now have a vehicle that can allow that to happen. So at the end of the day, you can't blame racism for your lack of success. You can't blame discrimination for your lack of success. You can't blame that you're a woman for your lack of success, that you weren't born in the right family, that you weren't born with the right skin color. You can't blame any of that anymore, because everybody has a level playing field now. It all comes down to this, how you use this. That's what the blockchain and cryptocurrency is providing for us right now. The only excuse you could possibly have is that you didn't know. You didn't know that this was going on. And that is a valid excuse, because 90% of people have no idea what's going on. They don't know what this is. They don't know what Bitcoin is and blockchain is. That's why we have KGX. Our goal and our mission is to bring crypto education to the masses. That's our goal, so that I leave it in your hands to turn it down. So at least I know that I can go to sleep at night knowing that I gave you the opportunity. I exposed you to it. The internet, 1993. And you made the conscious decision to say, no, thank you. You made the decision to say, no, thank you. So when I'm a Bitcoin billionaire, you can't come up to me and say, Brandon, why didn't you tell me about this when you first got started? I did. I've got a year worth of data recorded doing 2 crypto talks a day of me screaming at the top of my lungs to get involved. So nobody can say Brandon didn't try to tell me. Do you know how many hours that is? 2 hours a day for a year of nothing but crypto talk. So yeah, I did my part to spread the word and get it out there. But it's up to you as an adult to make that decision. And I'm going to give you something that's scary. And this scares me. You know, on one hand, I am so glad growing up in the 90s, well, in college, high school and college in the 90s, that there was no social media. There was no Facebook. I mean, you look at what's going on, and we can't avoid national politics. We can't avoid what's going on with the Supreme Court. And you've got Judge Kavanaugh, and they're going back 35 years on him. And it's he said versus she said, and he's pulling out his calendar where he wrote on his calendar what he was doing those days. That's really hard to prove today. But today's kids, there ain't no need for he said, she said. We got Facebook, we got Twitter, we got Instagram, we got YouTube. Everything you do is being recorded. Everything you do is being recorded. Everything you say is being recorded. How you feel and what you believe is being recorded. So 20 years from now, 30 years from now, when somebody's going up to be a judge, a Supreme Court nominee, or running for president, or running for any political office, we're going to be able to go back, and it's not he said, she said. We're actually going to be able to look, because everything you do is right there. Your children's going to be able to see everything you said, and your grandkids are going to be like, wait a minute. You knew about Bitcoin when it was only worth $6,500. And you're on here on Facebook talking about cash is king. that Bitcoin ain't real. And you didn't want to have nothing to do with it. That's why we're broke today, because Grandpa was running his mouth against it and talking about nonsense 40 years ago. That's a scary thing. Your legacy is being recorded for your great-grandchildren to see. What are you going to be leaving them? What are you going to leave them? What are they going to know you were working on during these days? I wish I can go back in time and know, what were my ancestors doing during the gold rush? Oh, well, I do know that. I mean, come on now, slavery. Didn't have a choice. But they're going to be asking, what were you doing during this time? It's all recorded. So my descendants are going to know exactly what their great-grandpa was doing. That's why they living in a mansion now, 40, 50, 60 years from now. So blockchain and crypto represents ultimate freedom, with nobody telling you what you can and what you can't do, how much money you can make, where you can go. Ultimate freedom. Never before in history, ever, in any culture, black, white, Asian, Latino, European, never before have we seen what we are experiencing right now. That also puts the ultimate responsibility on your hands. So you can no longer have an excuse of, well, they didn't give me an opportunity because I'm a woman. They didn't give me an opportunity because I'm black. I didn't have an opportunity because, you know, my family were slaves and they didn't have property to pass down through the generations. So you know, I'm disenfranchised. We didn't get 40 acres and a mule. That's why I'm not successful. I wasn't able to go to the best schools because in my neighborhood, you know, they didn't give us the best schools because of discrimination. You can't claim that anymore. You can't say that. You can't say racism is going to hold you back, because all you need is a cell phone. All you need is access to the internet. You got that. It's amazing to me. The brokest people on the planet got Jordans, and they got a $1,000 iPhone. Yet can't figure out how to pay their rent. You know, so nobody can claim their environment for holding them back. You know, I grew up, well, I can't say I grew up, but I was born in Compton, California. My parents were born and raised in Compton. And when my dad had success, he moved. You know, he moved out. It's like next Friday, moved out to the suburbs. But my dad ended up being wildly successful, while other individuals in his neighborhood that grew up under the same circumstances as him, you know, you know, jail, drugs, didn't amount to much. And a lot of them had excuses as to why. Well, it's because I'm black, or it's because I'm from Compton, or, you know, I didn't have opportunities. My dad made it, but what's the difference between my father? My father made a decision. You know, he made a choice, but he had to go through stuff. Much discrimination and racism, where others that went through it faltered, and he had the mental stamina to push through. Not everybody was able to. But today, because of cryptocurrency and the blockchain, that's all irrelevant now. It's all irrelevant. You can make as much money as you want, and there's nobody there to stop you. And crypto makes that possible. So this is going to be my running theme, especially in 2019, as we embark on this mission to bring crypto awareness to the masses using the vehicle of KGX. What is the cost to get started? People say, what's the barrier? Well, the only barrier is $300. 300 bucks can set you free. That's the cost. Who's down? Get back with me, or who's ever showing you this, to learn how to get yourself started, how to get in the game. Don't be a cheerleader on the sidelines just watching things happen. Get in the game. So that's my message for today. What is today? Wednesday. So I'll be back for late night crypto talk tonight. I haven't done a crypto talk now in almost 2 days. So I'll be back with that tonight. We'll go over some crypto news. But I will be doing, you know, updates like this about this ultimate freedom, because this is stuff that people need to know. They just don't know they have it. It's not available to them. All right, everybody, have a great day. Bitcoin Brandon out. See you next time. Bye-bye.